We got to get into the topic that sent many of the PlayStation purists, aka the toxic MFs of PlayStation Nation, into a effing tizzy. Now, folks, the story comes the way of Tech for Gamers. It was posted September 21st, and I already have linked it to the show notes. If you want to read it for yourself, by all means, check it out. It was written by Abdullah Wasim. Now, Abdullah goes on to say in his headline, Horizon Zero Dawn seemingly the next PlayStation port coming to Xbox. And he asks a question, PlayStation going all out with multi-platform strategy, question mark. And in their story highlights, and this is where it gets very pointed and interesting, Crispy Bomb, a new link suggests PlayStation is planning to release Horizon Zero Dawn on Xbox. A similar trend was observed for Helldivers 2, and it eventually came out on the rival's console. And the last bullet point is this: if this is indeed true, it seems both companies are adopting a solid multi-platform strategy. Now, I'm going to give myself flowers right now. And I also want to say a big thank you to Clute in the chat, aka Abdel114, because he found, as he's done many times before, an episode of X Vlog Live with me and C Money. And he put it out on the socials. And basically what C and I were talking about is we had spoken to two separate people that we trust that are considered leakers, insiders, if you will. And on that particular episode, we said that we were told that they saw the unnamed sources that Helldivers 2 was in the back end of the Xbox store. Now, if you guys and gals remember, and again, walk with me on this, because this is where we get into the evidence-based conversation that I love having. There were a couple of PlayStation leakers, insiders, if you will, content creators that had went out and found through their connections that Gears of War was where? On the back end of the PlayStation store. And look what happened. Gears of War Reloaded released on the PlayStation 5. And coincidentally enough, Helldivers 2 eventually released on Xbox. And we both were ridiculed. We were lambasted by many of the toxic MFs in PlayStation Nation about not knowing what we're talking about. And what do you know? Helldivers 2 is on Xbox and doing quite well. So here is a particular paragraph that I want to point your attention to. Now, in the story, how it came out is when you typed in Horizon Zero Dawn, an Xbox link came up, right? Now, this would be considered potentially on the back end of the Xbox store. And this is what the article had to say in regards to this, folks. This is why I think this is a reality. Now, granted, it's breadcrumbs. It is a current rumor. It has not been announced. But the Decima engine, we know, works on the Xbox platform. And why is that? Because Death Stranding is already available, and Death Stranding 2 is going to release next year on Xbox using what? The Decima engine. Well, in the article, it says this, Crispy. We spotted a dedicated link to Horizon Zero Dawn for Xbox, and it doesn't seem like a coincidence at all. And here's why. Before Helldivers 2 eventually came to Xbox, it saw an exact similar thing, indicating a solid cause that Horizon could in fact be the next game in line to come to Xbox. And, well, he goes on to say, if it is indeed the case, we might see an announcement soon. This would also mark a huge shift in Sony's policies, which have been very rigid in the past. But now, as console wars don't really exist, multi-platform is the way to go. Now, look, this is not confirmed, Crispy Bomb, but that is some damning evidence. And I think if you go back to what happened on that episode of X Vlog Live with me and C Money, we were told that that they were able to see Helldivers 2 on the back end of the store in the same form and fashion. Again, a separate source, i.e., the person that wrote this story, and of course, who it works for, Tech for Gamers, has also seen it on the back end of the Xbox store. Again, it's a rumor, folks. It's not confirmed. But if there's anything that we know about Herman Holtz, Crispy, is that he wants more people to play his baby, Horizon Zero Dawn. And if you think it stops and starts with it Lego Horizon going to Nintendo only, you are sadly mistaken. This game is minimum 5 years old, and it is not making any money for them whatsoever. But you know what would make money? If Horizon came to Xbox. I think it's the next one. I think they're onto something here, and you're not moving me off the square. Let's get your thoughts, Crispy.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they need to realize it's happening, and I'm talking about the stands here.
Yep.
You just look at, like, even their, like, Sony's market cap's going up. Like, the investors probably screaming, this is what we need to do. I also bring up, like, you guys took a lot of hate for that Helldivers 2 thing, but in realism, it's just proof in the pudding at this point. You look at what we called out, PlayStation. I saw plenty of PlayStation guys, not necessarily stands. I mean, at least once in a while, they're reasonable. And definitely were like, hey, I've seen that Gears is coming. Gears is coming. Well, it happened. Okay. Now, a lot of people probably thought it was, 2 and 3 and 1 and the whole collection there, but you just got one. And that's where I say, you look at Horizon, you look at, they're trying to make it a brand, like maybe even probably, and you got to think about this, having enough clout to really go home on a TV show or movie, if you think about it, because you got to have that brand recognition. And, realistically, if you look at like the Minecraft movie, brand recognition right there, it's been out forever as well. So why not put new eyes on that, get some new PR, and it will be justified by releasing it on Xbox, but also it will put Horizon back in front of PlayStation gamers that may not have played it. And this is something that they probably experience, and they probably will never see the real numbers, but of how much Helldivers 2 really sold after going on Xbox on PlayStation. It's like a cross marketing in logic. So I say, get ready. Now, I'm one of those people. I think it's going to be any game that's much older or, is really a great game, but they're not going to, I think they're going to piecemeal it. They're going to give you one at a time. And I think Xbox is going to do the same type of thing, one at a time, just to make sure that they're not, completely saying, hey, we're just giving you everything. Because I don't know. Then, do you want, like, I want an Xbox for Game Pass more than anything, and the controller and the ecosystem. And PlayStation, I mean, unless they change PlayStation Plus or at least the top tier, I mean, it's just brand nostalgia at this point, and some people are going to wise up and be like, well, I should just get an Xbox console because you guys are releasing all of your brand new games on there. So I think there's a little seesaw going on here of what they're actually willing to do and what they're going to do. But as far as the Horizon thing, I mean, it totally makes sense, and it will just boost its sales, and we know Sony loves sales, so that's really all I got.
No, I mean, you mentioned sales, and I kind of want to expand on that a bit. Everyone seems to think that the sales of software on Sony by their own mains, the Sony mains, is enough. Folks, the freaking numbers don't lie. We just went over this last week. In the past 30 years, the best-selling game, 12 out of the 20 spots, was freaking Call of Duty. And if you went into it further in detail, the Spider-Mans were there, yes. God of War was not. Neither was any of the Horizons. Neither was Last of Us. These were absent from the best-selling top 20 list of the last 30 years. There's a reason for it, okay? And all I have to do, Fuzzy Belvedere, is go right back to something you've heard me say a dozen times. Spider-Man 2, 315 million. Helldivers, which is now available everywhere but the Switch, cost $100 million to make, a third of what it cost Spider-Man. And guess what? Helldivers 2 ate Spider-Man 2's lunch. Okay, and when you consider all of the cancellations, including the $400 million bath from Concord, where do you think the Sony is going to get this money from? From the mains buying their games? Listen, they don't buy games. I'm sorry. The numbers prove that's right. And we know for a fact that what sells most on PlayStation 5 is third-party games, not the single-player, story-driven games from first party. Why do you think Sony has went back from putting out 3 of those a year to confirming they're going to put out 1? Because they can't afford to keep taking losses. And if they can go to Xbox, and look, I think the outlier here, very simply, if you want to keep it basic math 101, Fuzzy Belvedere, is they're going to look at the sales of Helldivers 2, and then we want more of that. That's what they're going to want. It was number 1 and number 3 in their own store on Xbox. They're going to want that. Let's get your thoughts, man.
Yeah, I honestly thought that there would be some other titles that might beat Horizon Zero Dawn, but like I know the Decima engine thing goes to show, because I know there were some ponies out there that were like, oh, the series consoles can't handle the Decima engine, and then Death Stranding proved that was a lie, and Death Stranding 2 will probably prove that's a lie in a year as well, or in about a year's time. So I figured, if anything, they probably should have announced Xbox when they did the master of Horizon Zero Dawn for PC. And no, did they? No, I think that was a free upgrade if you already had it on PC. But for console, I think they did an upgrade for those that may already have the game to have it look like Horizon Forbidden West, where you have like those like highlights around the characters and things, so they have a little bit of that glow when you're talking to them and stuff. It would have probably made sense to put it on series consoles at that point, but yeah, I still think Returnal and Days Gone maybe get announced prior, but I would not be surprised if Horizon Zero Dawn comes over. I mean, considering that's Herman Hulst's baby to some extent.
Yes, it is.
Why not?
Dude, he wants to sell that to everybody, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's not moving any numbers or any bottom line figures or anything like that, being as old as it is and not being on a new platform. Sure, if the Switch 2 could run it, put it on there as well. Put it on Xbox. Like, there, even though I know we've probably made a good bit of fun over it, I purchased it, but it's like some of the side quests are a little on the nose kind of thing.
You're talking about the find my leg?
Yeah. But yeah, it is a good game as far as the combat and the concept of fighting dinosaurs and stuff like that, or robot dinosaurs, I should say. It's like that I think would do well on the Xbox platform. So when it comes over, I don't expect it to do Helldivers 2 numbers, one, price difference, because I don't think they're going to sell it for 40, even though it's that much of an older game. But I think they'll try at least get the 60 out of it, and a decent number will sell on the Xbox platform. But as it stands right now, you could either let it sit on the shelf and collect more dust and, hopefully remaster it in another year or two with the next generation console or PS6 or whatever, and see if you get any additional sales from your same fan base, or you could put it on another platform and have the potential of, selling maybe 1 million copies or 2 million copies. I mean, money is money. It still spends at the end of the day. And I think the cost to port, especially considering the chipsets are both based off of x86, isn't quite as involved as it probably used to be in comparison from like the 360 and PS3 days, or even the Xbox One and PS4 days, even though those were kind of loosely based on the x86 with the Jaguar cores and whatnot. But yeah, I think at this point they're going to try to get as much money off of stuff that's collecting dust. And if they could sell, 1 million copies on Xbox, I think the shareholders will be happy, as well as, that dev team will be happy, and Nixus will be happy because, for some strange reason, I think ponies think that they're just going to get rid of Nixus, or all of a sudden Nixus is going to make its own IP when all they've done is port to PC or things along those lines. So yeah, I think it will benefit Sony in the short term. Some extra cash in their pocket will help fund, because just like we say, when ponies buy Xbox games over there, us buying Horizon Zero Dawn, you guys should be thankful, because that will help fund the third installment for Horizon. So hey, be happy.
I mean, again, folks, it's a rumor. There are a lot of people talking about it. There's a lot of information coming out of it. We saw Ecstasy's put out a post regarding it. We're going to have to watch this story as it transpires. I do agree with you, Fuzzy. I do think that Returnal is going to be the next one as well, because the rumors are Nixus is literally working on that as we speak. It's just a rumor. Don't get yourself all bent out of shape if you are a PlayStation guy or girl purist. We have to see how things play out, but I'm just want to kind of give you the heads up. Sony wants to make money. They're going to do what they always do, and that is copy Xbox. Xbox has had incredible success on PlayStation. I would imagine PlayStation is going to have a very similar amount of success on Xbox, and we saw that already with Helldivers